F1 head stateside for the first time in 2025. Let's have a bit of a talk about the Miami Grand Prix. Starting off the schedule for the weekend, and I'll give it in local time first because F1 posts in local time, and then I will carry it across to British time, to British summer time. It's about 5 hours difference if you're just wanted to hear the first pass of it. So, we'll start off on Friday with F1 Academy's first practice at 10 o'clock local time. Before the F1 FP1, it's only one practice because it's a sprint weekend, will be at 12:30 local time. Then you'll have the second practice session for F1 Academy at about 3:20 local time, before at 4:30 you have sprint qualifying. You'll also have some Porsche Carrera Cups doing their practice sessions just before F1 Academy's FP2 and just after F1 sprint qualifying. On the Saturday, F1 Academy's qualifying will happen around 10:30 before the F1 sprint at midday. Then you will have the qualifying for the Carrera Cups at 1:40, the first race for F1 Academy at 3 o'clock, the qualifying for F1 at 4 p.m. Then on the Sunday, the Carrera Cup second race, because the first race, I'm incredibly sorry, I forgot, it's about 6 p.m, it's 5:50 on the Saturday. Second race is 10 o'clock in the morning. Then you have F1 Academy second race at 1 p.m. and the F1 race is at 4 p.m. local time. That means in UK time for the F1 fans, it is going to be 5:30 p.m. on Friday for FP1. Sprint qualifying is going to be at around 9:30 p.m. Then on the Saturday, the sprint will be around 5 p.m. and then the qualifying for the Grand Prix will end up taking place at around 9 p.m. and then on the Sunday the Grand Prix itself will start at 9 p.m. UK time. In terms of the forecast, I'm just looking at a relatively recent forecast. For the Friday, it is looking like it will stay relatively dry, precipitation around 10%, peak and temperatures of 27 degrees, a low of 24. Similar for the Saturday, though throughout the day it will mostly be 15% chance of precipitation, and then on the Sunday, well, it could be wet. There's a high of 28, a low of 23, and precipitation goes as high as 50% between the hours of 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. Which means the race that starts at 4, we could have a wet Miami Grand Prix. Now, it's actually suggesting heavy thunderstorms on the Monday, so it could be wet weather. It's less likely to be a complete washout. Turn the clocks back to last year, and the sprint and the race were two different events altogether. Verstappen was pretty much dominant over the course of the sprint, and it was second place for Leclerc, third place for Sergio Perez. Then in the sprint, Daniel Ricciardo ended up getting fourth for RB. Then it was Sainz from Piastri. In the race, it was Hulkenberg, Tsunoda, Gasly and Sargent for the top 10, though of course top 8 are the only ones that get points. But on the grid, it was Stroll, Alonso, Norris and Hulkenberg. Remember, Norris was out in a turn 1 collision in the sprint. Then the actual Grand Prix, it was qualifying, which again didn't necessarily benefit the driver of the number 4. Verstappen, Leclerc, Sainz, Perez, then Norris and Piastri ahead of the 2 Mercedes. But thanks to being able to game the safety car correctly and then being able to hold off Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, who had just gotten the upgraded parts for the McLaren that Oscar Piastri then picked up a couple of races later, was able to win by 7 seconds. It was a very commanding win in the end. Whilst Leclerc rounded out the podium and Checo just about missed out on it. This means in terms of ones to watch, you might try to put your money on Max Verstappen, and you might not be wrong in doing so. Because it's a flatter track and the bits that have the elevation on it are more technical and therefore slower, the characteristics that tend to harm the Red Bull might not be on display as much that it could be through the weaving section where you have the fake marina. So I wouldn't be surprised if Max is right up at the front for this one. I also wouldn't be surprised if Lando's very competitive here. It was the place that he won for the first time last year. It was one of the ones that Piastri struggled at a little bit. especially in comparison to his teammates. I mean, in the race, he was down in 13th place. Now, that's not a true reflection of his race pace. That was a reflection of what happened on the day. But I would expect that the top 3 in the championship are going to be, at the very least, in your top 4 Saturday and Sunday. Anyways, those are my quick thoughts and predictions. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching, folks, and until next time, it's bye for now.